Good evening, I'm Maciej Mikos and you're watching World Talks. Some 300 days ahead of parliamentary elections in Hungary, the campaign seems to have already entered its hot phase, with the ruling Fidesz party accusing their pro-European rivals from TISZA party of issuing death threats against Prime Minister Viktor Orbán. Ukraine is also a bone of contention in Hungary's politics, as its president has been accused by Fidesz of attempts to destroy the country. And to talk about the state of affairs in Budapest, we're joined by Zoltán Tarr, Hungarian MEP from the European People's Party. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
Of course, in Strasbourg and Brussels, you're from the European People's Party. But you originate from TISZA party. Now, from your perspective, what is this newest chapter of the conflict between the Fidesz and TISZA about?
Well, what we can see is that the attacks on our party as the only really viable opposition of the ruling Fidesz party are intensifying. And since this government practically has access to any kind of instruments which they wish to use, they are using practically any kind of instruments. They are intensifying their attacks in the media, in the social media as well, spreading lies and even creating fake profiles in order to put us into a very bad communication situation. But it seems that so far it's not working for them.
Well, Viktor Orbán dubs TISZA party a hate sect, to be precise, for issuing death threats against him and his mother as well. So you claim you had nothing to do with it as a party?
Obviously not. This is not our style. We are not attacking the Prime Minister. We are an opposition which is within the rule of law, tries to save the country from the hands of our Prime Minister and his gang, from the corruption, from the decline in economy, from the high inflation, from the very, very difficult and bad situation in healthcare, and more recently, the major issues with public transportation. All of this, what Orban doesn't want to talk about. So that's why he creates all these narratives, what you have also mentioned, and there are others one can find on the internet, trying to confuse our followers and also trying to spread their bad news about us. They are the ones who spreading hatred, dividing the country. They are trying everything in their power to say that there are good and bad in the country, and they are the good, of course. Their rhetoric always involves them and us.
Nevertheless, issuing a death threat against one's own mother, I'm talking about Viktor Orbán, if it happens with his approval, that seems a bit extreme. Now let's listen to the leader of TISZA party, to his post on social media, what Péter Magyar wrote to comment on the current issue.
Fidesz is attempting to infiltrate TISZA with operatives to disrupt our community, gather intel and discredit us. They spread fake news, such as claiming that a non-existent TISZA spokesperson made scandalous remarks. Using Russian-style disinformation tactics, Fidesz creates fake TISZA Facebook pages and TikTok channels to post defamatory content and then plays the victim. This is a classic tactic. Accuse the other side of that which you are guilty.
Now, as I mentioned at the very beginning, Ukraine is now the bone of contention in Hungary. Now, how is the ongoing conflict with Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky serving the interests of Viktor Orbán?
Well, this very terrible conflict and this human tragedy really serves as a tool in Orban's hands. He's using it to create fear. That's what he's best of, actually, and trying to put together a narrative where we, the TISZA party, are supporting the war in Ukraine and trying to destabilize the country, Hungary, and he's using this narrative to spread fear and saying again that he and his party is the solution. But actually, you just cited from Péter Magyar, our leader, that pretty much summarizes what's going on now. And technically, we are not in a campaign mode, actually. The campaign should not start until 7-8 months, but already the forces the government is using shows that they are afraid of us. It shows very clearly that they consider us as a real opposition. So we are really getting ready to anything what can come in the future.
Right, so the campaign is, well, I would say, it's already in the full swing. But what is TISZA's approach to the issue of Hungarian minority in Ukraine and Hungary's military support for the war-torn country?
Yes, first of all, for us, the minority issue, not just in Ukraine, but in other neighboring countries, are of central interest. And we are very pleased that with the help of the European Union, Ukraine revoked its infamous Language Act. And now the use of the mother tongue Hungarian in Ukraine is again possible in education and in other areas of life. That is very important. We also think that the Hungarian minority considers that part of Ukraine where they live their motherland. So that's where they should live, and we want them to have a safe and prosperous life there where their motherland is. So for us, it is very important that peace would come very soon, and both Ukrainians and Hungarians could live in their land peacefully. We consider the Hungarian government's moves ones which really destabilize the region. Their cooperation with Russia, their cooperation with so many other powers which are not in the interest of the European Union and not in the interest of the Hungarian people, are really bringing bad to people also in Carpat Ukraine.
But when it comes to providing Ukraine with weapons, what's TISZA's stance on the matter?
Well, because of our geographical proximity, as well as our interest with the well-being of Hungarian minority, we also are not supporting providing weapons or any kind of military assistance to Ukraine. We think that being a neighbor, being very close, for us it is very important that we could provide safety for those who need it, but we should not take part in any way in the conflict, in the military conflict. So we are
now,
not supporting.
Do I get you correct that if the government in Budapest changes next year, if your party wins, there will be absolutely no change in its approach to Ukraine, and you will continue to block EU's efforts to provide Ukraine with more support?
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, you were asking whether we are, what is our stance in providing Ukraine with military assistance or
yes, because
weapons.
there are many initiatives in the EU to do just that. Will you oppose it?
Yeah, for us, the whole approach is very different. For us, being a member of the European Union, being a loyal member of NATO are crucial. That's what defines our space in Europe. And in that respect, we would like to be part of the solution within the European Union. So we won't like to obstruct the EU's efforts to bring peace to Ukraine, and also we would like to take our responsibilities, what we need to do within NATO. Having said that, at the same time, for us, obviously, the safety of our nation, our Hungary, is of crucial importance, and that is the most important thing. So we have to be very cautious about what and how we are going to do. But definitely, we want to take our share, what needs to be done within the European Union. We think that there are other ways from Hungary how we can help in bringing peace to Ukraine.
On June 20th, the popular vote of nationwide consultation, if you will, it's called Fox 2025, will come to an end. Now, what more can you tell us about this initiative and its purpose?
Well, it's really hard to tell too much about this, because this is really something which is totally useless. I would say the only purpose of this campaign from the government is really to, as I said, to shift away the focus from the real problems, as well as to create fear and create misunderstanding within the society. We don't really know how are the reactions of the people. We don't really know the true numbers of that. So we really think this is a very expensive communication campaign in order to fight against us, as well as to serve Russian interest in Hungary.
I see, but I guess its results will be published. And if you know the numbers and you know, and more, will it somehow define your party's political agenda and approach to Ukraine?
I don't think so. I don't think so, because we already know what the majority will think. I mean, we all know that this is not a real questionnaire to the people. I mean, the answers and the final answer is already known. We don't know, and we won't know, even though the government will announce it, that how many people really took part in this. So it cannot be taken seriously, for sure. And I don't think that this will change anything besides that it will be used by the government to fuel their position, which we already know, and also that this will be another useless act by the government to spend a lot of money on a communication campaign which practically just supports their position, which already very well known, and people would be hammered with these numbers after June the 20th.
Right. Now, talking about communication, Viktor Orbán has just met with Georgian Prime Minister Irakli Kobakidze, and on that occasion he has praised Georgia's government. The government responsible for a brutal crackdown on opposition. Now, is Budapest following in Tbilisi's footsteps?
Well, it's an interesting question. We surely can say that the current government and its leader is very happily moves closer to those leaders of the world who are taking his illiberal position. Obviously, this is again an act which totally goes against our membership within the EU. This shows again that what our Prime Minister is doing is totally not in line with a pro-European approach, and it also shows that the style of leadership what the Georgian President and Prime Minister is doing probably is very, very well supported by our Prime Minister. So yes, it is not something which we are happy for, to be sure, but we don't see any pattern change in Viktor Orbán's behavior. That is something very, very predictable, I would say.
So lastly, in a few words, if I may ask you to do that, what will the remainder of the campaign look like? Because we already have stated that it's quite brutal and unforgiving at the moment.
Absolutely. We expect more and more lies. We expect that even there will be some legal actions against us as a party, and maybe against our members, but against our leader for sure. We expect that more dirt will come, unfortunately. And in this situation, we are trying to preserve peace. We are trying to talk about peace and bring peace. And we keep on talking to people, asking their opinion and finding out what is important for them, so that when we win the election, we will be ready to do what this country and its people needs us to do.
Zoltán Tarr, Hungarian MEP from European People's Party and TISZA party, of course, was our guest this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me.
And thank you for watching, and stay with us for much more here on TVP World.